Hey everybody. So back with another purse, or a leaf purse in this case. Um, you might recognize this shape using some of the elements of a tote here. So it's going to be using kind of a small tote bag incorporated with leaf design and some drawstrings. So let's get into it. I've already cut and punched out the holes for the two main pieces here, but I wanted to kind of give you a rundown, breakdown from the beginning. Make sure that when you print these things out and you're putting them together, the little scissors here, the scissor icons, as you place the two pieces together, those should line up like this. So be sure that those line up when you're taping them down, and that way everything is going to be, the spacing and the sizing is going to be correct. The grommet size, or the hole size here for the grommets, are going to be 1/4 inch, so be aware of that. Same for the ones up here that are going to match here. So let me show you the leather here real quick. So I'm using a dark brown leather that's fairly soft. It's probably soft to soft medium temper. It's not quite medium, but it's not soft like a lot of others that are really floppy. But it's soft enough that when we go to sew this inside out, because this is like the kind of the tote design, you're gonna turn this inside out, sew it here on these two edges, and then fold this down and sew it here on both sides, and then turn it inside out. So you're going to need something that's fairly soft for that. If you get something too stiff, it's going to be really hard to turn inside out. It's going to be more difficult. Not saying it's impossible, but it is just for what I'm using this for as a purse. You want something soft for the main body, not something too stiff. Okay. This piece here is going to be the leaf design, and the lines here are for etching. Like if you have, and I've shown this in other videos, but for this leaf design, I use a swivel knife like this to carve and make the veins, and then I go over it with a stylus of some sort, like a ballpoint stylus, to kind of mark those lines and exaggerate the veininess, I guess you call it. So on this one, again, make sure you line things up with the scissor icons before you start punching everything out. This one I'm going to be using that Old Town Emerald, I believe it's called, is the name of this, and this is from Acadia leather. I got this one. So anyway, this one is the holes here and here are going to line up with these two holes and these two holes. And you'll notice though that they are slightly wider on the green part, because this is going to go wrapped on the outside like this. And because this is wrapping around the outside, it has a little bit more distance to travel, just because of the thickness of the leather. And so if I were to line these up exactly, with the holes below it exactly, when I try and wrap it around, the holes wouldn't match up below exactly. So you got to give it some space to wrap around that curve. Anyway, so really nice green leather here. I need to clean up some of the edges a little bit. You can see there, but the point of the getting mixed up here. So I'm going to be doing this first, and then turning it inside out. Okay, the lines here and here, the inner row of sewing lines, is going to match up with these here. And so you're actually going to stitch this line and this line after you turn this thing inside out, or right side out, right? And then also, same thing with the grommets. You can place those grommets after the base has been sewn, and you turn it right side out. One thing that is to note when you're doing this, I have these little tabs, and on the pattern, let me show you real quick. It's kind of hard to see with the tape here, but on the pattern there's some lines here and here and here and here that are just guides on where these little tabs are going to go. Okay, and these are going to get sewn on the inside. Okay, as you sew this. Okay, because what you're going to want in the end, once this is right side out, you're going to want this tab, you know, kind of like that. It's going to be sandwiched there. Okay, sandwiched in the right place, I should say. And this is going to have the D-ring right here for hanging the clasp for the purse straps. Okay, so I'm going to start sewing this, right? And then once I get to here, I'm going to show you how this is supposed to look. Okay, I'm going to sandwich this in here. And I'll probably use some of these little guys here. These little stitch keepers, or a stitch placement needles, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to use some of these to make sure this is in place and that it's getting sewn in the right spot. Okay, so I'm going to start here, and then once I get a little ways, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so let's start with that and then take it from there. Okay, be right back. Okay, so I've made an executive decision here on as far as the tabs go. I originally had cut these out, 1 inch by 2 inch, to use a 1 inch D-ring. But I was looking at this, looking at the size of that, how that's going to look, and it's way too big for the rest of the bag. So comparing the 3/4 inch look, actually looks probably a little bit better. It's not going to be as out there as the larger one. So what I did was I took the pieces that I cut out and punched out here, and I just used a half circle punch to cut out areas until it would fit a 3/4 inch D-ring. Okay, so I'm gonna use this just like that as I sew this. And like I mentioned, this is gonna go on the inside here, and I'll use some of these little keepers. I'll show you here in a second. Once I have this in place, it's gonna be kind of like that. And I could probably skive some material off of this just so it's a little bit thinner and doesn't create so much bulk, pushing this out, right? So I'm going to do that as well. If you can, some leather is easier to skive than others, so just watch out for that. I've even used just a Dremel with a little sandpaper and just sanded that down if you're not sure about the skive tool or a skiving machine type thing. Just a little Dremel sander will do as well. So I'm going to get these cleaned up a little bit, thinned down a little bit more, and then I'm going to place them on the inside with some of these keepers, and I'll show you how that looks. Okay, be right back. Okay, so here's the simple leaf one, that main body, and I wanted to show you just to add the progress on here. So I started at the bottom here where that little notch is, and then I double backed, reinforced it by doubling up in the stitching, came down, and with this in place, using the little stitch keepers, You know, I made sure that each of these stitches was nice and tight. And so it's sandwiched now. And then it came up here, looped it over the top. So it's not, there's not like any flopping pieces. Looped it over the top and then double backed a bit. And I did that for both sides here. But you can see on the inside, there's the D-ring. There's the other one. So when I turn it inside out, these are going to be poking out and I can use the clasps to attach to it. So now I'm going to work on these pieces here. And just to make sure, if you're counting the holes, this side right here has 7 holes. This has 7. And so the top, this top area here should have 14. Okay, so 7 and 7. So all these holes should line up. And that's why I have these little stitch keepers here, because I counted them and made sure that everything was lined up. This little notch in here, I'm sure you've seen TikToks or Instagram reels, people talking about that little notch. It just makes doing this section easier. So you can go through and line up the holes and stitch everything as it should be, instead of trying to loop it over or over this way. That cutting out that little notch that you've seen in the pattern right here, this little notch. That's what that's for, so that when you're putting it together and stitching it like that, it makes it easier. Anyway, so I'm going to do this one and this one, and then I'll show you the progress before I turn it inside out. Okay, be right back. Or sorry, right side out. There we go. Okay, and so here it is with the. Just want to show you these before I turn it right side out. But here they are, stitched up. There's a little notch, you kind of see it there, and it just, yeah, it makes things a little bit easier to stitch back and forth. Okay, let me show you what I was saying. Okay, so here it is, turned right side out. I need to clean up these edges a little bit, just from cutting it. But yeah, I can clean those up with some beveling and burnishing on that. But otherwise, here it is, ready to go, ready for the next step. You'll notice that there's these stitch marks, or these stitch holes here and here, and those correspond to these right here. So it's going to be a little bit of a work, because you're going to be stitching with this open. You're going to be stitching through, you know, with your hand inside here, stitching through. Okay, in and out this way. Okay, so you could, well, I wouldn't want to try it. I wouldn't want to try, you know, stitching this first and then trying to turn this thing out inside out and then back outside in. Might be difficult. But as far as point of order, what I'm going to do is actually get these 2 side grommets placed first, and then these two, which are the outermost ones, because once I'm done sewing the base here to this base, I'm going to want to grommet the leaf to the bag. And if these are kind of in the way, it just makes it a little more cumbersome. So yeah, I'm going to stitch this, grommets on the outermost, and then stitch the bottom, and then grommet the middle ones. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do next, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, be right back. Okay, so I got the stitching done, which is actually easier than I thought. Just put your fat hand inside and threading it in and out. Yeah, it's easy to do. Okay, so got the threading done here, or the stitching done, and I got a snap up here, and something that I found out, I learned from a friend of mine, also in leatherwork. I was looking for double cap snaps. Well, he just suggested using the same top for the bottom, because you know the bottom has that little hole, right? That usually you place with this one, and the top goes with this one. Well, if you use the top for the bottom as well, you know, it works just fine. So yeah, now I have a clean snap or double cap snaps basically. And then I ran 1/4 inch lacing through the grommets. So that's ready to go. I just need to get some straps. I have some clasps here. These are just some normal antique brass that I got from Amazon. Yeah, that work really well. So, and they're cheaper than what's at Tandy, for sure, and at Local Guy for that matter. So, I think I'd probably make the straps out of the brown. I think the brown looks nice, and I think it would continue the kind of the motif. Green might look like vines, maybe, I don't know. But I'm gonna get to that here in a minute. Hey everybody, so this is another one of those leaf bags, similar to the last one I just did. This one that I'm doing now is going to have a maple leaf pattern. Okay, so but very similar process, cutting out, making sure that when you're putting these things together, that the icons, the little scissor icons, line up. When you're taping them together, make sure you print it out at 100%, no scaling, all that kind of stuff. For this one though, in difference to the other one I had the green leaf. This one with the maple, not necessarily because it's Canada or whatever, but I have this really nice red that has some interesting pull up on it, and I've been wanting to use this for a while, and so I think I'm going to use this for the leaf here, and then for the body I need to find probably just a brown, maybe a lighter brown, something that matches the red. But so that's what I'm going to be doing, cutting out the pieces, punching out the holes for the stitching, the holes for the grommets, and these are 1/4 inch holes. And so I'm going to get started on that first, cutting out, punching out, and then, okay, let's start on this one first, or next, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the pieces cut out here, and the holes punched and everything. For the main body, I'm using this nice dark chocolate brown. I think it's going to go well with this this deep red that has lots of character to it. Even though it's not quite 5-6 ounce, it's probably more like 4, but it's a little bit stiffer than medium. So it's like a medium stiff temper, which I think is going to go okay as the accent piece here on the outside like this. So like I said, next steps, going to fold this over and stitch, saddle stitch along the sides, and then since this is similar to like a tote, it's going to stitch like that, right? But I do need to add in, like the other one, these little tabs where the D-rings. I'm gonna have D-rings here, and like the previous ones, the 1-inch D-rings are just looking too big, too bulky for this, so I'm gonna make some notches in here to account and allow for 3/4 inch D-rings, which are a little bit more size proportional wise. Yeah, but these, similar to the other one, these go on the inside with the D-ring placed and then get stitched like that. Okay, and remember that you can skive that or thin out that leather a little bit so that it's not so bulky when you're sewing it closed. There are little let me see if I can show you here. Yeah, there's little pieces on the pattern. There's just some placement markers. See those little, it's not too dark, it's not too noticeable, but the very light gray areas, just to show where those tabs are going to get placed on the final product. And they are, you can see here a little bit through the tape, and here, just they're on the pattern so you can see kind of a recommendation on where these should be placed eventually, you know, right there, like that. Anyway, so I'm going to start doing this. I'm using some stitch keepers to keep everything in place like I usually do. And remember, you can put these in there. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you what I was talking about with these inside here in just a minute. All right, be right back. Okay, so follow up on this one. It's finished now. Similar to the green one. Got it sewn down the edges here on the bottom like a tote. Have the little D-rings here that I cut notches into to make sure that the 3/4 inch D-ring fits. Here's the other side, and then stitching along the bottom, the grommets, also the grommets here, and then, you know, again, these are 1/4 inch grommets, so I use some 1/4 inch lacing here, and I put the snap. One interesting thing that I found out, like I mentioned before, but yeah, using the snap, the curved side on both sides, so it's nice and clean. This one, you'll notice probably when you're making it, is a little bit wider than the green one, just because I wanted the leaf, the maple leaf here, to fit proportionally. If this was smaller, then these pieces here would you know, be way out there versus how it is now, and it's just barely coming out past it. Anyway, I also put in the pattern these little you know, the strap keepers. There's one here for the maple leaf, and it's just the leaf, you know, cut out. I used the I don't see it here, but I used the swivel knife to make the marks, and then use the stylus, this kind of stylus here, to go over those lines where the swivel knife went, just to you know, give it a more pronounced look. And a lot of that comes down to the leather that you use. Not all leather is going to, you know, take these marks as nicely. But so I'm going to take these out, get some more pictures. Hopefully I get somebody to model these for me. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Like I said, it's fairly straightforward. As far as the strap goes, I didn't have anything in the pattern. It's just going to be I'm just using a 1-inch leather and 1-inch clasps here to attach to the D-rings, and then, you know, 1-inch buckle. Make sure you measure like how you want it, whether it's crossbody or just over the shoulder before you cut, etc. You know, straps are, I don't think you need me to tell you how to do straps. But so I'm going to take pictures of this one, and then also of this one, final product. Also has a matching you know, strap keeper here. I think it came out nice. I like the look of these. But yeah, I'm going to get some pictures of these and hopefully get somebody to model it. All right, if you do have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, feel free to ping me, either on, you know, Etsy, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, any of those, or my website, simplegoodleather.com. And love to hear from you, and I'd love to see how yours turn out. Whether you use, you know, different colors of leather to do yours, love to see it. So send me some pics. All right, good luck, and see you soon.